I have social media. Hey, McKee, this is the current president. Hey, Scott Young, McKee, social media in our head is on an alumni trip. He's also the interim principal.
Stragglers come in. So welcome. We got a lot of business to do today, but hopefully we'll get to a little discussions and talk about a few things later on. To welcome us today, our assistant head of school here, McKee Humphreys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy to be here. Welcome to MUS. I am filling in for Pete Sanders, so extend his welcome. He's in Charlotte on an alumni visit, so I get to do this, and I appreciate the offer. I will tell you, last night I was just wanting to learn more about MAIS Tech, which I've heard of for years, but I went to the website and it said, this connection is not private. This website may be impersonating to steal your personal and financial information. I kind of felt like I was doomed from the beginning. So I'll keep this simple. What I did want to say as I was thinking about just saying a very brief word was a thank you to all of you, because I think that you guys are in many ways the lifeblood of a school, and behind the scenes and probably don't get thanked enough for what you do. But I've worked with our tech group. I've seen all they've done, period, to get new people on board, to install new technology when we have a flood, to take care of Raptor, which has just been this insanely massive project to keep us safe, and then to creating an Excel spreadsheet that we just need help with data. So there's Dr. Smith. Hey.
Oh, Surgeon General. I thought I was interrupting.
Yeah. Take back my thank you. That's all I really want to say. You do so much behind the scenes, and you're not out front, and you don't get thanked enough. So thank you for all you do, and I hope your meeting goes well. And I look forward to being invited to the social event, which John told me he's the social chair, along with somebody else. Cindy, are you the okay? Well, I hope I get an invitation to that.
Absolutely.
Y'all have a great day. Welcome to MUS.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Guys, make sure you fill out the attendance sheet, please. Spreadsheet should automatically load to today's meeting, I believe. If you have any changes to make, read the directions there on what to do. Try to keep that current. Let's get right to the minutes. You want to review the February 24 minutes, there's a link right there. Otherwise, if we have a motion to approve the minutes, we can move on.
All motion.
Melissa, motion, and second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Very good. All opposed? And I see Miss Lena got in here, even though I was very late getting this out. She has updated the payment, so report from you, Miss Lena.
The balance for our last meeting was $2,118.09. We deposited a check from Fayette Academy, so we're welcome them this time. We had a withdrawal of $50 for some expenses. So the current balance right now is $2,098.09. Knowing that we are going to have the bill for our certificate and all of that will be coming out that we voted on at the last meeting. I just haven't gotten that information.
That's like $800 or something like that.
Yeah.
Might be in here.
It would be in the minutes.
$879.44. Yeah.
So I'm still waiting on that bill from Lynn.
And that's for how long? Like 5 years?
It's for 5 years. And so that will come out, and then also we'll have our social at the end of the month. But I think we're in pretty good standing.
in case anybody needs to turn in turn in an invoice or a receipt for that, those are the links right there. And before we go too much into this, we usually like to introduce everybody. I see some new faces that I don't recognize. I'm Scott Young. I'm the Director of Technology at North Point. Lena, you want to go next?
I'm Lena Collins. I'm the treasurer. I'm also the technology instructor at Sacred Heart School in South Haven.
Amy Brownlee, I'm the head of technology at Lausanne.
Chris Wiggins, Technology Specialist at ECS.
Cindy Brock, Director of Staff at ECS.
Scott Druitt, MUS.
Whitney Miller, I'm the academic technology director at Hutchinson.
I'm Nathan attorney at St. Francis of Assisi.
I'm Mindy Troy, IT director at SFA, St. Francis.
Torrance Myers, Director of Technology at Rossville Christian Academy.
Jordan Park, Director of Technology at St. Mary's Episcopal.
Drew Hino, MUS.
Corey Phillips at MUS.
John Samy, Director of Technology here, and I just want to extend my welcome as well. Glad you all are here.
Kathy Peterman, Educational Technology Director at First Assembly Christian School.
And Kathy Ross, Director of Technology at Fayette Academy.
James Dano, I'm Technology Specialist at PDS.
Melissa Smith, at PDS.
Yes. Good thing we got MUS here today, man. You only get one vote though, right?
Stacked the vote there, since we got a guy on the ballot.
Anyway, well, I guess I just noticed what seems to a change a little bit seems to have happened here. I mean, a lot of directors, a few specialists. I mean, we used to be full of technology integrationists, right? That was the term back then. And looks like we're getting more technical. I don't know. Let's see, we'll come back to the nominations committee, communications. We just have that one thing that we got going on there. And Whitney Miller and John, big thing coming up. We'll give a report on it. Are we all set for?
We are all set for Thursday, the 25th at 4:30 at Lost D on the patio. If you haven't come before, it's very fun and it's free. And you have more pictures, margaritas, appetizers, lots of chit chat and celebrating. So I will be sending out a little later today another invitation for those that aren't here. So we'd love to see you there and you'll get a reminder about it.
Lost Felicia's.
Oh, so
on
Lost D
Quince.
on Quince.
Yeah, there's lots of locations around town and people have been to the wrong one.
Yeah.
so.
So I put the address on the, when the email goes out, it'll have the address.
It's a lot of fun, y'all. We do a lot of just talking about the year and just, catching up. It's a good time, so. I
Sorry,
hope you
Lost
can make it.
Felicia.
There's lots of new folks in here, so I hope y'all can come if you've not been before.
What time do you?
We do 4:30 and we're usually there till about 7, honestly. I mean,
Lasts a while,
Lots of appetizers.
until the money runs out, right?
somebody raises their hand, tells you have to leave. And they're great. We just pull tables up. It's very casual, so.
Well, the big thing today is the election of new officers for next year. John was gracious enough to send this to me, which is, he's the most knowledgeable part of the law and, was it?
Robert's
Rules of order. So I got a cheat sheet here to make sure we do everything right here. First of all, thank you to the committee. That's, who is that? Cindy Brock, John Semy, and Melissa Smith. So they're responsible for your officers.
Thank you, Cindy.
Cindy, do you have that up there? Yeah, thank you. So, the nominating committee, has nominated these for the slate, that we are recommending. President-elect Corey Phillips, MUS, Secretary Kathy Peterman, FACS, and if we can keep Lena, we'll just keep her. For treasurer. So we do have to go through this process. we'll start with the Office of Treasurer. The floor is now open. Nominating committee has recommended Lena Collins. Are there any other nominations? I don't have to pause that long, do I, John? Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to close the nominations for the treasurer.
I'll move that.
John moved, second.
Second.
Is that Melissa?
Cindy Brown.
Oh, Cindy. And then, let's see, we must vote to close the nomination. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Floor is now open for the office of secretary. The nomination committee has recommended Kathy Peterman. Thanks very much, Kathy, for accepting. Are there any other nominations? Okay, how's it going, John? Good?
Doing great.
Uh,
You read well.
Any other nominations? One more time. Seeing none, we recognize, the chair will entertain a motion to close the nominations for secretary.
I so move. Vicky.
Vicky,
I'll second.
second, Lena. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, last page. President-elect. The floor is now open for the office of president-elect. The nominating committee has recommended Corey Phillips. Are there any other nominations? No nominations, seeing none. We'll take a motion to close the nominations for president-elect.
I will.
Okay, Amy? And the second?
A second.
Second? And, if there are no other nominations, we'll close, for president-elect. Did I already do that? Okay.
You can vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, there's no additional nominations, so we don't have to have the infamous secret ballot. Again, we
I
will,
would move that we elect them by acclamation.
okay, John moves and,
I second.
so, oh, we got a second, and, then we just have to vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. Welcome new officers for next year. Whew, I was worried about that, but it went pretty good. Okay, got all the notes there. These were the meeting dates for this year, where this is the last official meeting this year. We usually like to get, the first one scheduled even this year for next year, which would be September 6th. Any volunteers to host the meeting, the first one next year? Everybody don't jump at once. Or fight over it. Anybody?
I'll jump at once.
It's really not that bad of
It's
a
not.
No, it's
habit to
bad.
host. I know it's really a hectic time. Is it I would love to volunteer MUS to host again. I second that.
Thank you.
Second, all in favor?
We've done our turn.
All right, we'll find
You don't want to commit PDS to that?
I think I'm already in a hot seat and I'd like to leave my friends nicely.
That'd be.
That might be the end of it.
I'm sorry, we'll track somebody down. There's a lot of conferences. I'm gonna let you guys, anybody been to one of these conferences recently?
I presented at FHEC in Orlando. Lots of AI. One of my teachers and I presented on using AI in the classroom. It was good, but it was a lot of AI. Noticing that a lot of people we're still trying to catch up, and we've been ahead of it. So it's changing every single day. Every time something new comes out, something else changes. People are buying other people's stuff. So, yeah, it was a lot of AI.
Yeah,
What's
well,
the one again?
Lausanne.
Lausanne.
that well attended? I mean, like, how many people were there?
It's about 14,000.
Wow.
What
Yeah.
conference?
FETC. They're open for call for proposals for next year. The discount's pretty substantial. It's at the convention center. They feed you once, but it's really nice.
That's comparable in size to ISTE now.
It
I mean,
is.
that's quite.
The expo hall was really great. It wasn't open the entire time, the conference was happening. And then there's two different levels. For a basic pass, you get just the 45 minute to an hour sessions, but if you like get the premium pass, you get the 2-hour workshops. So a lot of great people. Matt Miller was there. Holly Clark was there, presenting. So it's pretty good.
Were those 2-hour workshops happening the same day as the other ones? Or was it like one of those
Yeah, so it was concurrent sessions throughout,
interesting.
so you always found something. Adobe sponsored, Microsoft was there, Promethean was there, it was very comparable to ISTE. And I think it was worth it. Plus it's in Orlando. I can't go back. Flights were pretty cheap. Hotel, they have great discounts with the hotel system there. You just gotta get it early. We actually stayed on Universal property. And they had buses, so it was really good.
Well, for those of you that weren't at the last meeting, Mr. Crawford, is that his last name?
Cowden?
Cowden?
Yeah.
Cowden, what's his first name?
Todd.
Todd Cowden
Yeah.
presented on IT, not AI, and it was really good. We had a lot of discussion, and yeah, it's just a big can of worms, and maybe we'll get into that later, and maybe we'll hear from what you saw down there to where they're at.
Yeah.
Because I know when I contacted you guys from a previous meeting, I knew you guys were really, at Lausanne, you were really on top of it, and that's why I asked someone, I asked Amy to come speak. 'Cause she
Yeah, we had
recommended-
just gotten back from FETC and then I left the next day overseas. So
Yeah.
I was working with the school overseas.
So it's just, how many are using something with the AI right now in school? Any other conferences anybody else attended or plan on attending?
Is anybody going to Atlas? It's next week. Couple. You're gonna miss the eclipse.
What?
You're gonna miss the eclipse to be out there.
Oh.
You can probably see it on
Hey.
TV.
And it won't tries.
Yeah, you can stream it no matter where you're at, so. No, we were just talking the other day about beepers. I mean, do you remember when we didn't have cell phones, we had to have a beep? Some of you guys are too young. But I had a beeper, and then when you got beeped, you had to pull off the side of the road and find a payphone
Right.
and make the call. I mean,
My boss gave us a cell phone when we had desk phones, and that was like, why would we ever do that?
Or you had to go from having a dime in your pocket to a quarter.
That's
Oh my, a whole quarter?
The both.
Yes.
And a quarter.
Scott, I'll make another plug for the Atlas listserv. I mean, I appeal to y'all every time, if you're not on the Atlas listserv, you are missing out on a great resource.
They're having a huge discussion right now on the AI.
Yeah.
It is just so interesting.
I mean, I see lots of people in this room that post. Kathy posted actually this week, thanking somebody for something, I guess.
It was
something
AI. It was,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
So if you're not on that, click that link in the agenda and sign up for it. And their archives is very robust. I mean, I went back just recently and we had to figure out how to log in because I had never seen it where you had to actually log in, but found a policy that, found something in a previous post, whatever. So if you're not on that listserv, you really should be.
Is MUS a member of Atlas? Are y'all
We're
paying
not.
for it?
Yeah, we're not. Who is in here? Yeah. So you get a discount when you go to their thing. I mean, that conference is not cheap to go to, but
It's not,
have you been before?
I've never been, Justin was a big fan,
No.
but back when he was here, they didn't want the membership price, and then we convinced him this year, he's gonna be there.
this time. I mean, from what I can tell from the conference, it's a lot more policy heavy.
Yeah. I've seen some people advertising their sessions on the listserv this week and
Yeah.
some great stuff, it looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't justify the cost to join it. I mean, it's expensive.
It's
to
really
join it.
expensive, and I'll be honest, I kind of was a little bit disappointed with for being an IT-focused organization, their website, adding all our members was a nightmare. No federation, their way of, they manually made every single email, they were like, yeah, send us a CSV, we'll do some default, like, I don't know, it just all.
And what do you have access to as a member that we don't have access to? Because they do give, I mean, you can go get some free stuff.
But I'll be honest, I feel like when I get my little my newsletter, it'll be like, oh, we're having this great webinar from this person talking about this. I'm like, okay, that sounds really interesting. Go click on it. And they're like, oh, well, you're a member, so it's 20% off. And I'm like, I pay so much up front. I want it free.
Is that what y'all experienced?
We only bought it the 1 year that Kathy, Cindy, and I went, and Rick, Susan. So that was, we just wanted the discount to attend.
Yeah. I'm kind of trying to decide whether or not it's worth it.
It's based on school
I
size.
love the listserv, I'm part of that, but obviously. you
That's
know,
free for
yeah,
everybody,
You don't have to, of course, I'm sure they would love to.
And I
Make
bought
it.
some of their publications too, I just paid full price, and I'll back their publications are really good. They did a security, kind of conference a spring ago. And that was very, very, informative.
There's a lady from there that's part of their tech kind of team. She was, one of the featured speakers at TIS out at St. George's this year. So she got, I think her name's Llewellyn. And she's around. I see her at lots of different stuff. So she's out there, but I was wondering what you get for your money besides the discount for the conference.
I think it's totally worth the price yet. I mean, they've got great stuff, but it's super expensive for what.
It's based on population, your size.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't really, some of, they're not, we're not all, never mind, nothing, go ahead.
You'll let us know next year.
Yeah. And you got SD in June, Denver.
Anybody going to that?
We're sending someone to ISTE, one of our curriculum technology design people.
Any Canvas users in here? Conference in Clark County, Nevada. That must be Las Vegas.
I like the way they say that. It's not like spring.
And then the TETC all the way to next December.
Yes, and that is a change of location. It's been in Murfreesboro forever since they, the change when it was in Nashville, but it's going to be in Chattanooga, and they are really working hard to make that a bigger conference than it has been. And that's why they're moving it, because they're maxed out at the Embassy Suites in Murfreesboro. It only holds 1,000 people, and that is pushing it. That's with the vendors in the hallway. So this is going to be a true convention center with a exhibit hall, dedicated exhibit hall, more rooms for sessions and whatever. So it's a further drive for us, and everybody knows that. And the West TIDA people in TIDA are not happy about that, but it is what it is. And that, where else are you going to go? Nashville, it cost $1 million to go to a convention there. And if you did it in Memphis, it's the same argument there about being too far. And we've got a new convention center, which is expensive. So their convention center is a little bit older, and they offered TIDA an incredible deal to host it. So they opted to go there.
I was gonna say, at that time of year, they probably could get pretty good deals.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be really good. They're bringing in some big name people. They do like some of these conventions now where they pay big speakers to come and do 4 breakout sessions or whatever. So they've got some big names on the agenda for that one. So, and the where the convention center is, if you're not familiar with Chattanooga, there's 4 big hotels right across the street. So it's going to be more like a traditional convention versus everything being inside the Embassy Suites like it was before.
Yeah.
So they're trying to up the game and do it regionally. They're marketing it to Georgia,
Alabama, South Carolina. They're trying to get regional people to come to it. So, and that's how FETC and some of those places got started. So maybe it'll go big time at some point.
Let's scroll down to Mace Tech, social media, just so you guys, if you're not familiar with those, will be interesting to find out what he was talking about our website. You must have not a certificate or something on there. Just click.
But if you click proceed, it takes you to it.
Oh, yeah.
Advanced or whatever, it'll take you to it.
I think it may have something to do with that certificate
That's exactly what it is.
that we just haven't renewed, or because I know that we had to wait a certain amount of time before everything could be updated after transferring it.
Who actually maintains our website? Lynn?
Lynn's coming in.
Yeah.
And she had a conflict today, something with her daughter. She had an appointment or something, so she said she wouldn't make it today.
So you must be logged in under something else today, because usually we have to have her code to get into the.
No, I'm still on
Okay. She's
I just
authorization.
told it not to forget it last time.
Okay, well, we're all the way to open discussion finally. I want to mention something right now. I love this ClickShare thing that you guys got. You tell us a little bit about that.
So it's a product from a company called Barco, and it's actually mounted behind the TV. And where's the other one? Right there. Yeah, hold it up, Vicki, please. Thank you. It's we just call them hockey pucks. You pair those with the little device back in the back of the TV. We have them in all of our conference rooms. And so Corey has one here. It's like that one, but it's red. I mean, when you're actively displaying, you can pair the model that we have. You can pair two of them. So there was the second one because I didn't know if Scott would want to connect or whatever. Sometimes in our board meetings, the headmaster will have his computer connected to it. And like if they have to show the finance report, the CFO will have the other one. And depending on who clicks the button, that's whose computer is displayed up there. And they have a very good range. I mean, they can go, several hundred feet away. But we like them. We discovered one years ago, and we just had one, and we would move it to the different conference rooms. But then when we did some upgrading and we added TVs in a lot of our places, we just decided to put one in every one of the conference rooms. So they're very nice, and they're not super expensive. You can get them with like 4. Like big conference rooms, sometimes big corporations, they have 4 or 5 of those little pucks, and they just spread them around, and whoever needs to present, they just pass them around and you just plug it in. And you have to, it's like a flash drive when it does it, and you have to double click and install something. But then once it's installed and you've done it before, you don't have to install it again, and you just click it and click off of it. So that's our background image that we have on all of them. That's the default. And then once again, when you're ready to present, you just click, and it just puts your computer up there. So Mac, PC, it doesn't matter. It works on all of them.
How much one of those things cost?
Like 1,100, I think, and then we pay $250 for the second puck. So 1,400 maybe.
Now, that's not including the TV.
That's correct.
So, but you can work it. You can
You have to.
work with pretty much any TV
So
that has.
you can
like-
hook it up to projectors, anything. It has an HDMI connection on the back.
Okay.
So you can hook it up to whatever you want to.
Makes it easy.
Yeah.
Well, then you don't have to tether to anything. You're not connected to anything. And, a room like this where you'd have to retrofit and pull wires up through something, you just put it, and that was the situation in a lot of our conference rooms. We didn't want to run all the wire, so we just did it that way, and it's all wireless.
Well, I'm thinking, we have floaters, we call them, right? Teacher that goes to different classrooms. Perfect for that. Plus, we're starting to put TVs in instead of projectors now.
So can we talk about the size then of a TV?
Yeah.
Because I thought I was buying really nice big ones. You guys are like 56.
Like, 55, 65.
And I've actually been told it was too small. But
We
then
buy
I've been told-
65s.
How big is that?
65. That's a
In the
65. Okay.
classroom, 65 in the class.
A lot of times it's just placement too. We have these oblong rooms and it's like, okay, well, we need to see the kids over here, you know? So,
So we're about to build a new building soon, and we're wrestling with that, thinking what we're gonna put 2 years out. I mean, that could be a massive something up on the ceiling and the wall by then, who knows? But we had to tell the builder, we want to drop or not want to drop or whatever. And do any of y'all have them on carts?
Yeah.
So I see CBHS's post, when they post things, what's going on in their school, and they've got these beautiful carts, low center of gravity, and theirs are like 85-inch. I know they're huge. And they've got a sound bar and a camera at the top. And I really think that's what we're going to do in the new building, just because, do y'all have something similar to that?
So I'm testing, I've got 2 demos on campus right now, Promethean, the premium panel that has like the cards where a teacher has a card with their account on it. So I'm testing a 65 and a 75 in the classrooms, and we're gonna go from there. They have up to 84. I can't remember the name of, Jamie is his name. Yes.
PCS.
They're really awesome. We've had it, the 65 for about 3 or 4 weeks. They purchased a 75-inch just so we could have it on campus at the same time, and they delivered it, and it's on the hydraulic carts.
That's
But
nice.
we are also looking at the wall-mounted adjustables as well. So we're thinking about 75.
We actually have, every single one of our teachers has a Promethean on cart that can be moved anywhere in the
What
classroom.
size?
80-inch.
So are the
So-
courts, do they do that at the base?
trapezoid.
They're actually not, they're more of a rectangle, they're very narrow.
Yeah.
And so the one thing that we didn't get is that the ones we have are not adjustable, but you can, they are adjustable to a sense, but you can't like move it from a pre-K classroom and then move it to a middle school classroom and just like the hydraulics and just raise it and lower it. You have to actually go in and actually take the cart down. And we did have several of those where they came in and they installed them, and they installed for pre-K3 and they were installed in the middle, they did all chalk rail level. And I said, they can't do that because pre-K3 can't even reach it. You don't want them climbing up on stairs and everything like that. So they did go in and lower all the lower elementary, and they lowered them so that it's at their level that they can go up and they can touch and they can use them. We pull them into the gym when we have events and things like that. We will tether them together so that it shows on multiple screens at one time. We started off with the wall-mounted Prometheans and have just the last couple of years, everybody in the school now has the new ones that are on the carts that are portable. And we do a lot, I was telling John before it started, we use, the Promethean has a screen share app. And all of the teachers have the screen share app downloaded on their laptops, and then all of the students have it connected to their Google accounts. And so all they have to do is click on the screen share app. When you click screen share on the Promethean, it shows a code, you type it in, they go into a waiting room. So it's not like they just take over the classroom. They have to be allowed in by the teacher, but students can share, teachers can share, and we've really been happy with them. And the sound quality, we don't have to have an extra sound bar or anything with them. The sound quality is really good. You can download apps to them. It's just Google Play Store, and anything in Google Play Store, you can go in and download the apps, use them right there you don't even have to have your computer connected, which is what a lot of the little kid teachers really liked, because where they have them placed by the carpet may not be close by their desk or anything like that, but we've done away with all of like the hardwire connection. It does have a USB, like their USB-C, that if you want to connect a laptop, it also has HDMI. So it's really easy to plug and play too.
So we bought Promethean, and I didn't have the best experience, and so we moved to Boxlight, does all of that, and it's cheaper.
What's it called?
Boxlight.
Boxlight.
They're really good. I know people that have done head-to-head comparisons of Boxlight, Promethean, and are Smartboard still a thing?
Smart, ViewSonic also has.
Yeah,
stuff now.
Clear Touch, they have,
Yeah.
but anyway, they swear that in a side-by-side, they love the Boxlights compared to the others. But, if you're a Promethean person, people will say something about Promethean. But we have some Boxlights here, and the people who use them love them. so.
They can do multiple kid touches, multiple screen shares, all the stuff that you fall in love with Promethean. And then the Promethean has that, what's that site where they're Promethean World?
Yes.
All of their, all of that type of shared curriculum material is applicable on mission.
And we're using TVs with that, using projectors, combinations.
It's a box like television, it's just like.
It's
TV.
interactive,
Yeah.
display.
But I like what Wanda has even found I think a more inexpensive solution at Lakeland with her design, but I haven't physically seen it in person, but Holly Lindsay has.
What does she do?
She's got, it's public, so it's, so they're doing projector, Apple TV, and then something the projector's like a short throw real high up on the wall, and it's all, but there's nothing.
Is the wall touch?
It's a wall.
It's with the pen.
Yeah.
It's those interactive short throws.
Is that
Yeah.
video?
That laser curtain.
It's an
No,
Epson,
video.
I think it's Epson product.
Epson, yes, and I've been asking our Epson reps a couple of years to experiment with that, but then COVID, and they, I don't know, they seem to be having a hard time trying to find one or something, and I just gave up.
We had a couple of those at my previous institution, and the laser curtain for the touch, if it was like a north-facing window in the room, like the hours between 11 and 1, it was completely useless because
Yeah.
the sun was just registering fake touches.
Well, that's what, we're having trouble with the sun on our television screen, so I really like the fact that you made all of yours mobile. That's very nice, that's a pretty penny to buy those things, the carts, so.
Yeah, out of all the ones that we've been replacing, as we've been replacing the projectors, most people are going to the screen. Only one, I think, has asked to have it mounted. Everybody else is on the cart, so they move it anywhere in the classroom, and that helps.
Because mounting a TV, you lose whiteboard space.
Well, and like Vicki said, the room could be like this, and, you think, okay, yes, we'll make the administrative decision, put it there, but then the teacher inevitably will want their room facing that way.
And guess what? We don't have the manpower to move it, so.
Or the money, and I've done that here.
Yeah.
In fact, one room, over 5 years, I've moved it twice. And somebody else pays for it out of their budget. I say, well, I put it up once. If you're gonna move it, you're gonna pay for it. So, but we get a contractor here to move it.
Yeah,
So,
we required them to be on carts. A lot of our teachers actually wanted them on the walls permanently. We were like, I'm not gonna move it all the time. And they fought it until we had a whole deal where our theater screen broke right before production. And I was like, yeah, let's just go grab 2 of these wheeled carts and let's pull them in here and we'll do our, dual monitors on either side of the stage. And they were like, oh, yeah, this works. Now I get why you don't mount them.
and what brand do you have?
I have a mix. I have Boxlight. We did that for 2 years. And then I also have a ton of TouchView. And they're about to come out with their 5th version, which you can put on the OPS for the older computers. And the big thing for us is we want the Google Play Store and have all the apps in Chrome native and everything. So I manage and supply everything through that. So all of the ones that don't have that are a pain.
And what size are yours?
75.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm thinking, 75. 85 may be so cheap in 2 years when I buy these that I'm thinking it may be 85 on a car. I don't know. But again, it's 2 years out, so I don't know what I'm.
Okay, I'll confess, I'm gonna tell a quick story because you don't have the adjustable ones, and we don't either. So we were doing an open house. So we were just gonna lift the cart and put it on this box stand up there.
Oh.
So one guy was on one side and I was on the other side, and we lifted that TV up, and all of a sudden that TV got top heavy. We held the cart. The cart did not move, but that TV, once the weight went, all the little screws and everything just came right out. That TV went down. It was
That's
gone.
not child-proof friendly. Letting another kid.
when we had ours installed, their kit didn't actually have a screw that kept the screen from moving side to side on the mount for our box lights. And so we had to tell them like, now you gotta come back out. And the first time around, they just put like one screw in there and basically it was just the shear strength of one screw. And we're like, no, like there's children, if they grab onto the side of one of these, they could flip the screen off. So we do to double check their work whenever they mount them.
Wow, that's.
Well, I know one of the reasons why we went to Wood Parks was because of all the wiring issues we had. And there are some rooms where, in terms of where the wiring is, and because our guys directly decided with Promethean, some of the wiring that they had, the rooms were too big, or where the wiring was, it didn't have good access for any of the board. They didn't work. So it was like basically, it was pointless to have them in there. And so with the wireless, and it's now connected to our Wi-Fi network, it's so much better. But I mean, we have a meeting in the chapel. I mean, we did Virtues training, and they just wheeled one into the chapel. They had a meeting with the parents. When it was done, they wheeled it back out. And
So Jordan, we had this week, our 15-year-old projector in our chapel, which we're trying to live on borrowed time for 2 years until we have a new chapel. But anyway, it died this week. And so we are in a dilemma now to buy a, $15,000 new projector. We have a production like next week that we have, so we know we got to rent something. I mean, if you've never rented a 10K up projector, they're $4,000 to $6,000, $7,000 a week. I mean, a month to rent. Wow. I mean, they're not cheap, which is about a third of the cost of a brand new one, but you can't get a new one in for 2 to 4 weeks. So anyway, we were living on borrowed time with that, and we were hoping it would last until the new chapel got built. But anyway, it's a mess. It's a mess. But he's renting something probably today, so it'll be delivered Monday or Tuesday because the production starts end of next week, I think, and that's a big to do. And anyway, we have a big author coming in, and we paying her a fortune, and she's got in her contract, and she has that projection. So anyway, you gotta, sometimes you gotta pay. So I don't know. Has anybody bought a large projector lately? 10,000K and up?
What's the EC Hussey, the Hussey Commons? We have a 65,000 or something like. I mean, it was like a.
What brand did you put in? Yeah, we're looking at Epson, but the theater guy doesn't like the.
Central did ours. I know.
Yeah, it's a dilemma for sure. Yeah. And there's not many places that have availability for rental on those. And if they do, they're going to charge you for it. I mean.
I will also say though that ours at 2PC, they're still using our classroom projector to throw in the sanctuary. So
wow.
It can be done still with a cheap one.
But I think they're going to the like the LED matrix boards, like the snap-on ones.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and like in the dining hall, we've talked about that.
So those are cool.
Cindy, what did y'all do for your production? I've heard nothing but amazing things for the production. No,
We have a
for your
LED.
like
We have
all
an
your
LED
stuff in
wall.
the background.
They have an LED wall.
Wow.
Who installed?
Our theater department handled all of that, not us.
She had a friend from the.
Yeah,
New
it was
York, I
a
think.
friend from New York, and they kind of did all that, but it was amazing.
I heard it was
Like
great.
it was a Broadway type style, best high school music thing I've ever seen. Like,
So what's that providing? Backgrounds?
yeah.
Scenes and scenes.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
don't
we
have
use a
curtain
projector,
out or, I
you
mean,
know,
they had
huge.
sets that they would push in front of it, but like in a bank, there was a bank scene and it
Yeah.
was like this amazing, like, oh my goodness, or in the park, they wouldn't have anything. They'd have the background of a weather, beautiful day in a park background, and it looked.
Covers the whole back wall of the stage. Wow.
Frank Lucy.
We're doing that with some kind of projector, and again, the drum department took care of that themselves, but it's gotta be huge, because it's not that far away from the wall, and it's floor to ceiling, a lot taller than that then it projects, and they do the same thing with different scenes, so you don't have to have elaborate sets.
Anybody put it in their
Cool.
gyms yet for the interactive play?
That's so much fun.
That Lou, that's the big one that they always have to, Jamie.
That's
Locke.
LED?
No,
It's a projector.
Yeah, it's a projector. I've seen that. That's cool though.
it is fun.
They've sold a lot of those around town, I think more public schools. I mean, I've not seen any installed, but they say they have an install base now around town, so.
Carterwood Elementary has 2 in that new gym that they just built. Yeah.
There you go, if you may want to go
Dogwood
see
Elementary
one.
has one too.
Who?
Dogwood.
Yeah, so I knew Jamie LaRocca had said, because they're like the exclusive vendor for that, PCS. So I knew he said they had some installs around now, so.
You mentioned speed, you're talking about wireless though. I'm just curious about, I like to find out what everybody's got for bandwidth nowadays with everything's online now. I realize, this is probably more like last year. We don't have one really thing running on internal servers anymore. Not one. Everything's up in the cloud. We're going through an internet upgrade right now because we only had 1. We're going to 5. Just general consensus. What do you have, John?
For
Internet.
access,
Bandwidth?
we have 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, we have a gig and we have a half a gig, 500 meg as a redundancy.
Does it use it at the same time or just?
It goes both into the firewall and it does its
Yeah.
thing.
That's cool.
Yep.
Anybody else?
I think we have 8.
8.
It's a different amount.
What do you pay for? I mean, I'm just curious. What do you pay for that?
What do you have, Melissa?
E-rate.
How many students do you have?
400.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
2,000 or 3,000?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I mean, we did it with COVID, remote asynchronous learning in mind. So obviously right now, we're not at that, but now also many of our servers are moving to cloud and all of our big security upgrades and the Vigilon and all that stuff, they sold us to cloud and so that's taxes the network a lot now. I'm actually kind of pushing for us to go back to on-prem for our cameras because as soon as we install tons of cameras, all the admin were like, it's choppy.
Too slow.
The quality's too, not good. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong here. It's when it goes out and comes back, which is stupid if it's not fast. And so I was like, yeah, on-prem just makes more sense. I mean, I get cloud convenience, but
Does anybody have a good Comcast contact?
I did,
they're left. It doesn't exist.
I do.
Tried. I had a huge problem with them this year.
Well, we have them, and I think what we're paying them is way too much because we're not under contract anymore. So the guy who reached out to me, I said, oh, I want to look into doing a new contract. And he basically said, well, we can't give you anything lower than that unless you cancel, and then we can give you a new account. And I'm like, okay, but we do have AT&T running simultaneously, so I think we would probably be okay, but we have AT&T and Comcast. But I've asked him 3 more times, what would the deal be if I cancel? And he will not respond. And then I've said, okay, can you direct me to someone who would tell me? Because I'm not getting a response from you. So if it's not your area, find who is my contact, and he will not respond.
I have this conspiracy theory about Comcast. They got acquired by AT&T, 8 years ago. I think that between the two of them, they sent just the worst people to Comcast because it was a whole antitrust thing when they acquired them. I think their plan is to just let Comcast kill itself.
Not until my mama is middle water. She needs that Comcast email. Don't make
I think that's their long-term plan is to just send the worst people there. Don't do it because they do the same thing with residential and commercials. They won't talk and negotiate. And you tell them AT&T's price is better. They're like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. They don't even try. I think that they're just their long-term vision is to just let the company die, and then AT&T successfully has their monopoly
we had Comcast a couple of years ago, and they were very okay that some of the channels were not clear, that they were, and they were like, well, your house is too far from the box or whatever. And I was like, hello, AT&T. So,
I'm surprised you got to even speak to anybody.
Yeah.
I can never
This
get a
was-
human being.
well, it wasn't just a few years ago, so maybe it was before the merger.
Yeah, we're using Comcast at the school right now, so we're going from the 1 to 5. But we, through our vendor, they kind of knew somebody, so that's at Comcast, probably not even on the regular sales team. That's
Send that out though, just in case, because I'd love to just have somebody to call if I need it.
Right,
I'd send that out to the list.
okay.
Or put it in the, put it in the
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Well, I'm surprised that some of these were lower.
Remember,
as I've heard,
we're
we've
not 1-to-1 here, so
been- Yeah,
1.5 is fine for us. I mean, if we ever go to 1-to-1, we'll probably have to up that.
we'll see what happened to us, because we had the 1. I mean, we had a huge infrastructure upgrade that we're doing right now to get ready for that, because most of the fiber wouldn't carry more than a gig. It was older fiber, so we gotta replace fiber to all the closets. And they had one run that went from our main closet all the way, underground out to the east building, so that was a huge run. So we have to get all that in place before we can even go to the 5, because 1 seems to be a threshold, and then you kind of jump over it, but. Yeah, same thing with our cameras too, the same thing, actually, it ended up being one computer. No matter where I moved this one laptop, it was always lagging, like you said. But we replaced it and it's working now, so it's doing better. But we only have maybe 2 or 3 people that are viewing the cameras the whole same time.
Well, that was our original intention with the cameras, and then after everything that happened last year, Avon decided, no, we want all of our front desks to be live streaming multiple screens at any given moment.
Yeah.
Because they want to have the appearance that we're monitoring everything.
Sure.
And I was like, the whole cloud camera system is not designed, like you guys wanted cloud before you wanted this. And so I'm like, yeah, we're going back to the servers because we can't have dozens of people all live streaming cameras
Right.
from the cloud. Are killing me. Yeah.
Yeah, we also had some March Madness delays. People must have been streaming all over campus because our web network just went.
Wait till the Masters next week. Scott, can I introduce somebody to this?
Yes,
came in?
absolutely.
Because she does want to say a word or two. Y'all may remember Wendy Trentham. She's the director of the High Library here. She presented before when we were trying to get that library group going again, and they've since done that. And they've talked and they meet, chat occasionally. But Wendy, she teaches first thing, but that's why she's a little late coming in here. But I said, well, why don't you just come and just make another pitch if anybody has a librarian that's not a part of that group yet or whatever. So Wendy?
Yes, we have been meeting informally and we've had talks of formalizing. It seems like we're still trying to gain some momentum, but the one thing we have done is created, we're using Gaggle so that we can communicate because everybody was using different email and we kind of just had this copy and paste list. So we're like crawling, walking, hopefully we'll be running soon. But Zach Sandberg, the other librarian here, and I, we're keeping that Gaggle list. And so anybody that's interested in getting notified or sharing information, I've got my card that I'm the easiest way just to email me or to have your librarian or media specialist email me. We'd like to have a meeting in April before this year closes out. And what we talked about yesterday is just instead of trying to slate agenda or any of that to make it easy, because I think the librarians maybe wear so many hats. Some of them teach, they have kids coming in and out all day. It's really harder for us to meet, I think. But we talked about just setting up a schedule of letting other librarians come see the space, just tour the space. And so that way we don't have to come up with like a lot of work. And I think it's super beneficial for us even to see space that's not our age group, just to see how logistics work, how having students come in and out works. We're using a check-in system now instead of St. Agnes to track who's in our building for safety and for statistics and stuff. So we have a lot we could share. If anybody has like a new library media specialist, or you're not sure if they're connected to this fledgling group, and there's a whole history. There was a group before called Maislick, and that was actually like a business entity, and it's gone. So now we're trying to form something that is more just collegial and professional sharing and support and communication. So I'm just kind of trying to get the word out. Does anybody need my contact information? Or?
I'll take one.
Hi.
What's your school?
Russell.
Academy? Yeah. And maybe we have talked to his librarian there. I think she might be.
Right. Right.
Maybe so, but please pass it on. Anybody else? Yeah.
They used to be that Maze Lit group was a thriving group for a long time. And then as people got out of that, because they got, what was the name of that catalog? Cersei Dynex.
Right, we were like a shared
Yeah.
consortium because it was so much, it was cost effective in the 90s and early 2000s. And then suddenly everybody was like, wait, I can run my own instance and we don't need to be all tied together. And it became more of a burden than a help. And then people, we had bills to pay and we were billing people and they were like, we don't need this anymore. It got really squirrely. And now we're free of all that. So we can just get back to being practitioners together and friends.
Yeah, you all may not know the background of that, but all of the libraries, all that was a member of that group, they were all connected. So like a kid from here could check a book out from Lausanne. A kid from Lausanne could check a book out from St. Agnes. I mean, they were all connected with one big master database. And then as people just dropped out of that, I guess they felt that was the thing that held them together, and they kind of just stopped talking and going having meetings, and it just went defunct. So.
And the accreditation rules used to be that you could, we could say we had access to the total sum of the volumes of books, and that really helped for SACS accreditation. And now the way accreditation is worded, it's not by number of books anymore. And so that's another if you're just wanting to, I think this stuff is really interesting how this changes. And so even MUS has had 40,000 books. And that's way too many for 600 students. And so I've been weeding, but we just shift the paradigm to, the quality of resources. Actually, SACS isn't very explicit about what a library is supposed to provide anymore. So everybody can make a choice of how they want to do it. Thanks for listening to all that. It's very interesting.
Because we just recently, because we're growing and we don't have the extra space, we ended up making a couple of classrooms out of our library, but the books are still up there in the hallways and everything for high school. Now, the elementary library is used extensively.
Yes.
But the high school library is not anymore, unless where's tech coming in to the library now, is what I want to
You're
ask.
asking that?
Yeah.
Well, I could do a whole presentation on this, but, just sorry, I didn't know I was gonna get this question. The structure at this school is that students have ample time to come to the library when they have a study hall. That's considered a free period unless they're in a behavior or grade category where they can't leave their study hall. So we have the, I would say, luxury or privilege of having students that are in our library a lot. And I will just say honestly, because we all do this work, that here at a college preparatory school, a library is a piece of this campus. We believe in it, even if kids aren't reading every day. For me, that's heartbreaking. But even if that's not happening, the library space is still this place, and I say this where verbs happen, where study, relaxation, collaboration, technology, we have the lab in there. And also when I came on, I'm under Don. Because I was at Rhodes, where it's a merged division where library and IT since 1999 have been together. And, Corey was there too, and my partner, my life partner, my husband does this as well. So we have this mindset that when people come here to learn, they are learning, whether it's tech, book, whatever, and these kids have a foot in both worlds and they need to know how to use all of it. But it helps that the school has a value of the library space. Because of course we could just have all this digital resource stuff. But when you see a kid spread out and they're like 2 at a table, and they just need like actually physically for people to not be around them for a couple minutes and not have anybody talk to them. We know it's a place of like, I mean, I would say mental health and wellness. And so that we were going to continue to advocate for that. And the statistics that we bring in about now that they scan in, we have 800 visitors a week. Some of those are repeat kids, but 800 individual visits a week. And I don't know what that compares with, but I'm going to fight to make sure the library stays a piece of this, because we know we want all these kids to be going on to undergraduate school. They need to know how to manage their time, manage themselves, and not just completely lose their mind. I mean, that's a lot of what we teach them in there, how to manage yourself without just like, you know, writing on the walls or breaking things, you know, like at the very beginning of life here. And so that's the value. And like I said, I could keep talking about this, so stop me, open meeting is.
But that's well said, especially the
Yeah.
mental health part.
Yes.
And if we're
Yes.
looking for funding, a lot of times, you
Yes.
know, if the way you word something is how you get funding for
Right.
stuff like that. But you having those statistics and what it does, that would be a way for people, if you're trying to rescue your library space.
Tell them about your
I
check-in
mean,
and check-out thing. They might be interested in that.
You know, that,
Yes, and we can talk by phone or Zoom or something. So there's literature written about all of this, how a library is a space of mental health and wellness. You know, that school librarians wear lots of hats, including we are channeled to the counselors. We're not counselors ourselves, but we see those kids that aren't really talking to anybody and collaborating with anybody. But if we don't teach or grade, there's somebody that Corey can just share. I'm really having trouble in this class, or I don't know what to do. And then we can piece that to other people. So if those things are valued and you want your kids to, you want retention to stay high, you want academic success to stay high, that these are things that we can work with. But it's like this invisible thing, and everybody's like, oh, we don't have any money for this anymore. But sometimes you don't realize, and I just try very hard to record and note and state out loud what we're doing here and how it is a piece, I would say a vital piece of the campus. Now, other people might eventually say, no, there's no money for it, and that would be terrible, but we have to continue to state our worth. And I hate that the library got turned into classrooms, not because, I mean, I understand that need, but people, when I am out and about in the world, people are like, I loved that library. I spent so much time in there. I can smell it now. Those people will write a check here too. Like, there's a reason to have a library. It makes people feel good. If you've been to, is it St. Mary's Tech person
Yeah.
here? That library, I mean, I was old. I'm like, why do you like our library? It's old and crusty and built in the 90s and the 70s, the 70s. Yeah. But that one has a fireplace. I would never leave. Right?
St. George's is gorgeous.
St.
We're
George's
about to build a
has the,
second library.
yes, you are. St. George's has the deck outside. I mean, these are spaces that the teachers need, and we have teachers that come in. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
No, you're good. I appreciate it.
Tell them real quick about your check-in, check-out.
We use a really lightweight online system called Library Track. I think it costs us $250 a year. I got the idea from Sarah Casey at St. Agnes. And what we were having trouble with is because we have anybody on a free period, that can actually be a lot of places on campus, almost anywhere. So for me, if we had a fire drill, I had to say, what's your name? Write your name down on here, especially when I was new. I didn't know these kids. And so we're like, well, who's missing? Who's here? Is someone in the bathroom having a diabetic moment or, falling out? Like, I don't know these kids. So now we have them just sign, they scan their ID card. And we just set it up where we have everybody's unique number from our SIS, our student information system, in there, and it just identifies them. But now we have all these statistics, like freshmen are our heavy users. They have more free period times too, when their PE class gets out and all that. And seniors don't come. And we have like, we know this particular year, third period, why are there so many people on free period, third period? They're all in here. We have all these stats.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is that Library Track has it's just a live link or even a QR code where our attendance office can look at it and see who's in there and say, you need to come for your appointment. There's some other people that need to know is someone in here, our college counselors, because they're like, they're supposed to be here for a meeting and they forgot about it. And so instead of calling us, they can just check our live list. It's really been helpful, and the students haven't pushed back that much. It doesn't feel draconian or anything. And now we also have them drop their phones off in the little phone slots right there, unless they needed to upload their homework or something. And so we put the phones in phone jail, and we give brains a break. And we weren't doing that before. I was having to like say, put your phone away, and that's an endless task. So I feel like it really has also filtered out kids that just come there to goof off, because they know, I know their name, but also they know, like, I'm here I want to set my phone down so I can get my homework done. Because I'm addicted as well.
If you want to see that and see the space before it's torn down.
Yes.
Because that is the first sign of construction here, is when that building gets torn down, because the new building is going to go right on top of this building space. And to show you the emphasis here, our third building to be built out of 5 that we're going to build here over the next however many years is a new library technology center. It's going to be the heart of the campus when it gets built. So we're going to be libraryless or in a temporary space for 2 or 3 years, we think.
But then it will connect lower and upper school, because our youngest students kind of have trouble getting to our library, because it's much more, it sits by itself, but it's aimed more at upper school. And that's really at a disadvantage when you got a 12 or 13-year-old that wants to read a book. They have a hard time coming to our building. So our new campus the library will be accessible by both lower and upper school, middle and upper school.
Well, we're hiring for a new one this year, so I'm gonna
Great.
pass your card and we'll see if he or she can get involved and.
Good.
Well, if you want to send me, did I give you
I got the
that
card.
job posting? I'm also part of MALC, Memphis Area Library Council, and there are many qualified people that might want to know about that job.
Okay.
MALC is college, special library, all the librarians.
Okay. I got your card.
Speaking of hiring,
I'm sorry.
we're hiring a tech specialist as well at ECS that will teach 3rd grade STEM, and we'll be back and forth between our elementary campus and our upper elementary high school campus, to help with tech integration, basic tech support for teachers. So probably not as much a network type position, more of a teacher who loves technology type position. It is a 12-month position. They help manage iPads, basically everything. So if you know anyone, please feel free. I'm working on a job description for that. One doesn't exist apparently. And the guy who's currently doing it, he was a 4th grade teacher last year, and he's moving to Chattanooga. So if you know anybody interested.
I think Lynn's hiring somebody too, Barcrest maybe, I don't know. Anyway, she mentioned something to me a few weeks ago. So if you're, know people who are looking to make a change.
Will that position require you to be certified to teach?
No.
Okay. And will your position require teaching certification?
No.
Okay. It does make a difference, because I have a library degree, but I'm not certified to teach.
I mean, they'll be teaching 3rd grade STEM, but we have all the curriculum, and as long as they can.
Yeah, it's sliced and diced different ways.
And I don't even think it's a graded class. I don't think they do. I think it's just.
Melissa, you guys find somebody?
Yeah, I've been, they've got a new guy, I was looking up his last name really quickly. Y'all be nice, his name is Joey. That he'll be replacing me, and he's really good friends with the Jancheks from, so he should be a really nice guy. He doesn't have education background, but he is IT. And during this recently on the Atlas listserv, I noticed that there's a new tech position that's evolving with all of this security stuff, which is, I don't know if some of y'all recognize, like years ago, Stuart Crace's job kind of transformed into the security kind of thing. And so has mine. And they're creating like a new tech position for security matters, dealing with Raptor, or dealing with your library thing, and dealing with the cameras that are all now digital, and all of that kind of stuff. And I really put a plug to you all, because it's not right And, but I really hope that you all fight your schools and for that type of a position. Sorry.
Sorry.
I do love you all.
Everybody may not know that this is your last meeting and you're leaving us.
Yeah, my husband and I are starting an art supply store, and behind the tears are really big, joyful stuff.
She is
It's
happy.
the in-between days that are very, very hard, as they say, and that accentuate the positivity song.
Where is this art supply store going to be?
Poplar Pike, towards Collierville.
We'll make sure we promote you on our
Yes,
list.
and I'm building the website, and so I get to do tech. So y'all will be invited to our area. Excuse me? Well, we're kind of a little burnt on teaching. So we're gonna focus on selling supplies, and my husband's an artist. And then sessions and workshops and collaborative paintings and that kind of stuff, little fun events. And he's a musician, so there'll be live music. And 2 doors down is a winery. So we'll be dry.
Collaboration there.
Scott,
So
I was gonna actually ask toward that at the end of the meeting, a point of personal privilege to talk about Melissa, because I knew it was her last meeting. So Melissa and I go way back, as does Cindy and several people in this room. Melissa, if you don't know, used to work as part of the Shelby County team years ago, and we had some budget issues, and we lost them to PDS. And so our financial problems were PDS's gain, but y'all, she has been a very instrumental part of this organization for many, many years. She's served in leadership roles. She's hosted us. I cannot tell you how many times over there at PDS. And we're going to miss you, Melissa, and we wish you luck.
And I got to drive in his Tesla, and he didn't touch the steering wheel, and I have all these videos. It's super cool. It was a fun ride, the last one.
Wow. Scott, can I bring up one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does
It's all
anybody
discussion.
have an AI policy in your policy book yet?
Please send that to me.
You are the only one.
Yes.
We actually we did that last year. Now we have a scope and sequence as well.
We've asked, we've called some of your, not necessarily everybody in this room, but there's an AI committee here, and we've called and asked, and nobody in the independent school world in Memphis has one.
And
They've got them elsewhere, but not here.
That was the consensus kind of at FETC as well, is that everybody was just.
What do you do? What do you say? Well, we've got a draft of one. We've started. We're keeping ours very short and simple.
Yeah.
And we hope to have this in we call it the U-book. It's our, policy book. We have to have this in our U-book next year. But it's, it basically says we recognize it. If teachers want to use it, they can give permission to use it. But if a teacher doesn't say it or says no, then it is an honor code violation if you use it and don't admit that that's your work. So we're keeping ours simple at first. If this passes in the next couple of weeks, I'll send it out. But if you've got yours that you would share, that would be very helpful for people to look at some.
Does anybody have one on like wearable technology?
Right.
It's been in our hands
And there's a
for years.
wonderful magic school AI. Is amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Man.
yeah.
We can't even, I was just saying, we can't even, I'm still trying to drag our teachers along into the world of AI. So we're not even close to having a policy for teaching kids.
Yeah, we're still doing committee and kind of having some administrators
But
that
not
are
Google
like,
Classroom, but
banning it, and we're like, it's alrealdy embedded.
We have some on our committee that are like that too. And we're-
I've shown
it's-
them.
There's
All
like
that
stuff
A lot
that
of
they
different
can
products,
share.
you
Because
know,
right now we're vetting,
some
we're
will
demoing
try and-
platforms.
But we're also only K-8.
Oh, to pay for
Teacher,
it.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, because I want a DPA, I want a data privacy agreement.
Yep.
And so some of these vendors, you don't get that unless you do their premium. I also want it federated. But we just demoed School AI in Flint, K-12, and I like both of them. And I keep pushing it in terms of differentiation to just make teachers' lives easier. So That's the biggest thing that for us.
A lot of people on Atlas have been talking about Flint lately.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look on Atlas, there's a lot of people that have policies out there, but they're not in Memphis, they're elsewhere. But I mean, we've called and I mean, we asked Briarcrest, Hutchison's in development. I think somebody talked to somebody in your academic world at St. Mary's, oh yeah, we're talking about it, but nobody has one, so.
The recent post talked about, the teachers using it for narratives on report cards. I don't know how I feel about that, because, you know, I mean, that's supposed to be authentic, but that might be something that, I don't know if anybody does narratives still, but.
Hey, I'm a new Grammarly user, isn't that AI in a way? I mean,
Yeah,
gosh,
it's built into it.
I rewrite
Enable or
everything.
disable.
Pardon that?
You can enable or disable the
Yeah.
AI function, but we turned it on. And now teachers are using it to write the comments on grades. So, I mean, we're already sneaking it in where we can and trying to get people to accept the smaller doses of it.
Yeah, and what's the, drawing a blank, what's the software they use to check papers?
Turn it in.
Turn it in.
Don't do it.
I got teachers all the time coming to me and saying,
If you're not writing.
it came back 30%, you know, and we're like, do you really think, you know, it's really, you can't tell.
It's not effective. Like,
Yeah.
they can't keep up with how much is growing.
Start it there and pull the pieces out.
And I think I've even heard I've had someone create something totally AI and it not come back.
Because
And
we're
then
not
someone,
trained on it. You can't train AI, then detect AI, you want AI is original.
I don't understand why.
And it's expensive, AI detectors.
It's built into everything.
It's built into everything.
It's just really.
wrap it up.
The AI tutors is a good thing.
By the way, y'all, you're hearing faculty senior basketball game across the hall over here. I mean,
I was wondering,
Guys,
thank you guys for doing it.
normally it's chapel from 9:30 to 6:15, but they do, like, sometime in April, they figure out before the seniors leave, and they pick today, and so they're right across the hall, you know, 600 kids, and every faculty member cheering loudly.
I think-
Guys, we're having, go ahead.
Okay, before we have anybody else leave, as this is Scott's last meeting that we have a small gift of appreciation from Maytag.
Feet first? Oh.
So just a little gift of our appreciation for serving as president.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Scott's second time around, by the way.
Yeah.
When did you do it the first time?
Who was 10, 15 years ago at
That's been a
least?
little while.
Because Stuart was still around
Yeah,
back then.
I think he still is.
When I first started, Stuart
St.
was our
Louis.
first, was the
Somewhere in
first
St. Louis.
president
St. Louis, yeah.
that I came here. When he was president, that's the first time I came to a meeting. 19 some years ago, I guess. How long has it been in Base Tech now?
Are you 30-ish or 25? I don't
Last time
remember.
you guys were talking about it was more than 25
Look,
years.
it's, I mean,
We're
it's
talking
got,
about
you've got the
then.
first, president, I think, on the website. But all those people, you know, are long gone.
Yeah.
All retired.
I hope to get there someday.
Let's see what it says.
With that, just, John, just, let's go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Vicky, and second? Okay. motion to
Anybody
adjourn.
wants the
Thank
nickel
you.
tour, you can stay. If you want to go see the library, I can show you where that is.
Yeah, I want.
Have some more, have some more food